Hello everybody, this is Mr. DeBoer. I wanted to create a tutorial for you on how to edit your Google Sites. We want to go in, to start off, let's go to Google, type in Google Sites, and actually tutorial is going to be about inserting a table into Google Sites. So we're going to click our blue button on the second web link there. You all should be familiar with that. We'll be working today on Web 3 here, apparently. So this is the web page that you've set up. It looks very similar. You got your three pages here that are Home, My Research, and Web Inspiration. The sitemap was already there. We're going to deal with My Research right now. We go to the My Research page, and looks like I've already got some stuff in here. So let's go ahead and delete this table, and then I'll come back and show you how to do that. Okay, so very first thing, once you access the site and you click on My Research, you're left with these options up here in the corner. We want to select the Edit Page button. Now, notice over here on the left, it gives us a couple of choices. We're going to insert a table. So we're going to select Table, Insert Table, and you should have about 13 topics, and we need 4 rows for that. So I'll just highlight, drag it across to adjust for what size table I need, and then I click, and it should go ahead and put that in there. Now, I've got the whole table here that I can edit and kind of go through, but actually what I want to do, I want to put some headings in. So let's go ahead. We first started with our topics. Then we have our questions, our research questions that you generated. And then obviously those are going to lead to answers. Sorry. And we also want to add our source. All right. So we can tell where everything's are at. So our very first topic was Google Sites. If you remember, that was the first thing I put on the board. And the question I have for that was, how do we use, I'm sorry, I'm a slow typer, Google Sites to make a website? So after I got the question in, a lot of you first look at it and say, wait, it's running my words all the way down the screen. Well, there's a couple ways I can handle this. Click on the cell that I want to edit. It looks kind of crammed in there. It gives me 3 options. I can resize it several ways. I can resize it by clicking on any of these squares and adjust it however I need to, or grab the squares on the side to adjust it left or right, or even by clicking on the one in the corner, I can adjust both axes and go that route. I actually want to do right about there should be good, and you know what? See if I can't bring that up. It's probably because if it's a little too big, it might be because I've got an extra line in there. I want to readjust my answers column because I'm obviously going to be typing sentences there, right? And readjust my sources page just a little bit. And notice how it kind of adjusted everything else. So you can kind of put all your information in and then go from there. Well, let's say I've got more than one question. I probably would indicate each question by putting a little hyphen mark in front of it and hitting return after I go to the end of the question, hit return twice, and it'll keep me within the same cell, and then I could go ahead and type my other question down below that, and it just resizes the cell automatically for me. So that's pretty handy. So maybe my other question is, what items can I use in Google Sites to make my website? All right. And maybe I'm thinking along the lines of like, oops, if I could spell right. Maybe I'm thinking along the lines of like pictures or videos or something along that. Now I know this wasn't one of your original questions. I'm just putting it in there to show you how you can use 2 questions for one topic. So basically the whole idea is going to be that you come out through here and we're going to put the topic down, and then the questions related to that topic, and then our answers, and then our source. And this is going to be our evidence showing that we actually did our research and we know what we're talking about. If I were to go to another, let's go to my Google Classroom, for example, and let's look at one of the resources that I gave you. Dated August 16th, it says here's a link to the Google Training Center. that may help you build in building your website. You don't have to make your website this advanced for the project, so just click on that. And this is the tutorial that we looked at in the lab that day. If you take information off that site, it's not bad. Just kind of click to the left of the address bar up top. If you have a dependable mouse, you can right click or you can press control click and copy. At this point, I want to go back to my research right here where my source is and Command V and put that in. Now, I know that that's not totally perfect and it's not like an MLA format, but it's at least quoting our research and our site. And I can show you some sites to help you get that in the proper format before too long. After I do that, I can go ahead and start typing in my answers on several different things here in this column and continue on. I believe the next topic was academics. If you want to use the @ symbol, ATMS. And then you generate your questions and go from there. All right, guys. Hope that was enough. I figured that would be all we need to get you started. If you wanted to go back and look and see an example of what this should look like, it's titled Stage 2 Web State Project. I gave you a screenshot, kind of like what I'm looking for and what I expect. All right. So that being said, thank you for watching. If you need any help, post it in the classroom. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. See you guys.